Well, this is the Boxing Review Show on Boxing Social. It is episode 4. We've made it to number 4, Anthony.
Still going.
Doing great work. Now, of course, this is Anthony $1 Million Crolla, the former WBA lightweight champion.
Yep.
Will that do? Anything else?
Yeah, that's enough. Like you say, it's in the contract, as you always
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. What we're going to do this week, we're going to be reviewing all the action from the Manchester, Sheffield and Toledo, Ohio shows as well, because there was a big heavyweight fight over there. But there was a lot. There wasn't an awful lot last week, but there's loads and loads of fights this week, and we've got a very, very special guest, haven't we, Anthony?
We could call it special in many different ways.
Well, we have the one and only Commonwealth lightweight champion, Rhiannon Dixon, but we'll be seeing Rhiannon a bit later on. We're just going to keep her where she is for now, because first things first, Anthony, is we like to set the scene. Now, we are at the fabulous surroundings of Fox ABC.
Yeah.
This is within the confines of a football club called Avro, on the edge of Oldham.
Recently promoted.
Yeah. And
on the famous Lanside estate.
Some of the footballers train in here as well, don't they?
Yeah, we do a good few sessions with the football. I'd like to say it's part of them getting promoted, but I wasn't. But no, they've done brilliant. But yeah, it's flying around there, like I say, on the very crazy Limeside estate. A lot goes on here. But yeah, we're attached to these, and here we are.
A lot goes on in here as well. This is where your pros train, Rhiannon being one of them.
Yep.
And just again, quickly remind us who else you've got in here.
Geez, I forget. So,
Super
Rhiannon
James
Dixon,
Moorcroft.
James Moorcroft, Sir Iqbal, Jake James, Bobby Faulkner, Levi Kinciona, and my brother. Yeah,
oh, that's right. Well. Just Will.
I think that. Just Will. So yeah. So I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. I've not missed anyone out.
Okay. Right, your week, Anthony, as we like to go into it. I mean, last week, after we recorded the pod, then there was a busy week lined up. We were meant to be working together in Manchester City Centre for the Boxer Show, actually, in conjunction with Maverick Stars and the community events that we kind of helped liaise.
We was meant to be doing an event, a training session for the wheelchair athletes, but I think obviously the Manchester weather put a stop to that, all the nice weather we've had lately, and that went to so that moved. I think the workout moved to Champs Camp, didn't it? It did. Before that, I was with Boxwise, a boxing charity who helps a lot of communities, really, to be honest. And that was with the homeless in Manchester. We was doing a session, just really like inspiring stories that someone who'd been part of, like he was a victim in human trafficking, and then there was just some great characters. Great characters. So we'd done a workout there in Manchester. What else did I do first?
Thursday we were in Sheffield for the
Matchroom
press conference.
Dalton Smith, Sam Maxwell fight and undercard.
Yeah.
And then Saturday.
Actually, you're not told the full story of Thursday, really, have you?
Oh, Thursday? No, I didn't. I'm not.
Because you got a bit giddy again, didn't you, after the press conference? You wanted.
Well, I was celebrating your anniversary. I was celebrating your wedding anniversary. So I insisted on you going home. You went home too late. You'll never grow up. So we've done that. So we went. What we did, we both sides, weren't we, on Thursday? It was Matchroom. Yeah. Then went over and we caught up with everyone when we got off the train in Manchester. We did. All the boxer team, and then I feel like we missed out Friday, no. And then Saturday, I was in the beautiful town of Abergavenny. I keep saying it, mate. What a town. It was.
That's because you were looking after Sean Yaxley, because Joe obviously had Natasha
Joe Gallagher was,
in the big fight on Saturday night.
World title fights, we asked me to go down there and would have cornered Sean Yaxley. Was fighting Kieran Geffen, who was putting on the show in Abergavenny Market Hall.
And Sean came through.
He did. He came through. It was a good fight. It was a very good fight. He came through on points. But do you know what it was? It was a proper throwback. If anyone's been to the shows there, and I imagine it was probably something like the 50s, but I liked it. It worked a lot. There was standing seats, like you were standing only. Yeah. And then there was, I think, in a ringside was officials, and I think a few sort of like might have been sponsors or VIPs and stuff. I know Joe Cardina, he was in town to watch his mate box. There was a few, do you know what? There was a good few.
They all support each other.
No, I like that a lot. They really do. Yeah. Even what's your man called who's just signed for Matchroom? Character, Brandon.
Oh, Spider-Man or Superman or what? He comes in as Brandon.
He was carrying the title.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so, no, it was good, but I like the way they get behind their own. And listen, fair play, Kieran, putting on the show as well in that part of the world.
Well, let's go on with it, shall we? Because there's a lot of fights that we need to get through. So this is where I think we should bring in one of your star pupils, Rhiannon Dixon. Nice to see you, Rhiannon.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. We've moved the mountain to Mohammed for this one as well. we've left the studio to come and see you in your natural surroundings where you train.
No, I said I would come into town, but Ant just wanted to be here. He wanted to show off his gym.
Yeah,
as you can imagine.
Yeah, he wanted the big McCrolla behind him.
Well, McCrolla.
Yeah, you know the gym.
You know what, that's right, Joe. Everyone sees that and they go McCrolla, and I think, I'm not Scottish or anything like that. I don't know how you'd pronounce it. Just MC. Yeah, it's McCrolla then. That's it. Yeah, sound like a McDonald's.
So anyway, you've been working with Anthony McCrolla for a while now, and all going well. I mean, you've just won your first title a few months ago now, but you're basking in that glory still. You got a European title fight coming up soon, I think, as well. Is that right?
Yeah. So it should be in September. So we're just working hard for that now, and yeah, I'm excited.
Better in Thunders.
Yeah,
should be a good fight.
Yeah, we've seen her before on these shows, haven't we?
We have. I think
Wasserman.
The Wasserman show. Yes, she went there. So she's. Actually, did you see her close by? I asked Rhiannon to get there close up because I thought it's a potential opponent.
Yeah. But his brother wanted to go Wagamama's, so I had to go Wagamama's with his brother.
You can probably believe that, actually. So,
yeah, all right. Well, we'll get a bit more into your career in a bit because we just want your thoughts on a couple of the fights because we're going to start in Manchester, which was headline, of course, Savannah Marshall against Franchon Crews Dezurn. Again, obviously, as we tend to do, Rhiannon, for your benefit, even though I know you're an avid listener, we'll get Anthony's thoughts on what was the best card, best ring walk, best kind of show-stopping moment from the weekend. And I've got a feeling that this lady, Franchon, might have something to do with that because I've never seen someone sing their own anthem before getting involved in a world title fight. It was something that, wasn't it?
She nailed it as well.
Yeah?
She nailed it.
It was unbelievable.
She
I
got
loved
some
it.
voice on her. And do you know what, I just think that, and I think it's a lot of like, American fighters, it's that brash, like, there's a little bit, well, obviously, the Clarissa Shields about her, where the confidence they must have to think, I'm in the biggest fight of my career, and Clarissa done a dance routine.
Yeah, it was brilliant, that.
Yeah. She nailed the national anthem, and I don't like it, we react a little bit different to national anthems over here, a UK crowd, but anyway. And but for Americans are so patriotic, but yeah, she nailed it. So yeah, fair play.
She didn't nail the fight.
No,
that was Savannah's.
One thing I'll say is unbelievably tough hold, a very good shot. I think Rhiannon, anyone who's ever sparred Savannah, they'll say how hard she is, and the lads in the gym, they was doing a little bit of work with her, for the fight at William, James Moorcroft. And they all say how hard she really hits. And I just thought, there's no way that she's not going to land often enough, which she did land often enough. I know it got messy at times.
Yeah, it was messy, yeah.
But the shots she absorbed and stuff like that was, every credit.
What do you think? I mean, Savannah close quarters. You've taken those shots as well, haven't you? So were you impressed with having, it was a horrible style for her to deal with, I think.
Yeah. I think they prepared for that though in camp.
They did. Let's say Peter Fury was saying to us, "What I want to really rough her up. And that sort of he was bang on in what he said. I think in the fight, Peter he kept saying, "Oh, just take that half step out," and that's what she probably didn't do enough. But yeah, no, it was. I thought it was an entertaining fight, but it got messy at times.
Yeah, but a lot of them shots that Savannah caught Franchon with, she put girls down. So I think, she's unbelievably tough. And she made her own kit.
She made her own
that's
kit
right.
as well.
She's a designer as well.
I think she does Alicia Baumgartner's as well, like a few of the American girls, I know.
Yeah. And then she photobombed Savannah's shot in the ring afterwards as well.
Yeah, she on that as well, did she?
So she made an impression. It didn't go away in the night, but I think she won a lot of fans.
So I was at Media City yesterday, and Stacey Copeland, she was interviewing her for, I think it was for 5 Live.
Yeah.
And what she said was she was with her husband, and she went, yeah, believe it or not, her husband was quite, and she said, my husband doesn't say a word. I think she probably didn't get the chance to say a word. But character.
Yeah, so Savannah comes through. I suppose no major surprise there. We know because she's bounced back, but then Clarissa was there. And again, you can't keep that girl down, can you? She's just something else. I mean, she's a proper force of nature. She was brilliant in the run-up to the Savannah fight in terms of all her press stuff and everything. And she was fantastic again at the weekend. And she even got involved at the press conference and put it on Savannah again.
Do you know what else she's done as well? Which I think is every bit as important.
The Sonny Edwards stuff.
There we go. Sonny's got a soft spot for Clarissa, right?
Dear.
And it's not easy, but Sonny beats Bam Rodriguez.
He gets a date.
He's going to get a date with Clarissa, and I just think that's just going to be entertaining. So, I mean, obviously I want Sonny to win anyway, but even more so now.
Yeah, I think all the UK's behind him because we want to see them together now.
Because he'd film that and everything, wouldn't he? I mean,
brilliant.
There'd be loads of clips of that. He wouldn't let that go.
It'd be brilliant. But no, she is a star, and I think I said it, and we've been lucky enough to speak to her. I've said it to you as well. No one of her rankings, she's very pally with her, but I'm right in saying, don't think you know better than me. The blue that she has in her hair, it's Flip Michigan have had an unbelievable problem where they haven't got
the water supply has been really dodgy there for a long time, hasn't it? So she campaigns for a town, Flint in Michigan, So they've had a crazy situation going on there. So as you say, she does a lot of good as well. I mean, she likes to put it on opponents. She's good fun. She's great value. But you know, and she backs it up in the ring, doesn't she? So she is a star. But another star that you both know very, very well, Tasha Jonas, in against Kandi Wyatt, dropping down to welterweight. She's moved all over the place to get these world belts, hasn't she? But a two-time world champion now. And I'll tell you what, she did a right number on Kandi, who proved how tough she was, because she was battered all over the place, wasn't she, really? Let's face it.
She was just, to be honest, we were saying what Rhiannon, it went exactly how we thought it was going to go. Joe Kandi, fair play, she was very, very tough.
Yeah.
But there was just levels between them, wasn't there? And there was Tash could not miss with the backhand, could she? I think it was very nearly over early on, wasn't it?
In the first round, I thought it was going to get stopped in the first round.
And she just kept finding a home for that backhand, and it was one of them. It was just a nice, comfortable night for Tash. She looked good, doing what she had to do. She took very little in return. Like you say, I thought the stoppage was... I saw some people criticising the stoppage. I thought it was a fantastically timed stoppage. Probably could have gone earlier. But
I could have won a lot of money if it had just gone the distance, though. I was never in any doubt that Natasha was going to win, but I just thought, Kandi being tough, she might just stick it out.
And she is so tough, but... Yeah, and obviously Tasha's picked up a new world title, so it's going to be interesting now to see what happens, because 140, obviously... Well... 140 is Katie and Chantel, isn't it? So they're already going to fight again. 147.
Casco's fighting Sandy Ryan.
So and then obviously 154, where I think Tasha's got 3 of the belts. Terry Harper. I don't know if Terry's got outlined up at the minute and stuff. So it's just interesting what, do you know? And
loads of options, honestly.
Ringside was Lauren Price, and so there's a big fight there. But I always say it's like Tash, a rage. Obviously, it does get mentioned a lot, but. What it is, I think, she's very technically correct. Very technically correct. So she lands, and Rhiannon will vouch for this. You say she hits very hard. She hits very hard as well. You know, you're talking about 2 of the biggest female punchers pound for pound in Savannah and Natasha on the same bill. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens next with Tash.
What do you make of Ben Whittaker?
What do you make of Ben Whittaker, Rhiannon?
I like his dancing.
Okay, that what you mean.
There's plenty of showboating going on there, isn't there? I mean, he's kind of created this persona, because you know I know you're probably going to say something similar here, because met him in Birmingham fairly recently. He's a lovely lad, but his boxing persona is totally different, isn't it? I mean, and some of the stuff he was doing with Vlad Bayuski, who's a good pro, a good lad, a really good pro. You're just thinking, oh come on. But then he is a good fella, and he's just creating this character, isn't he? I suppose
he has, he's a showman, and that's sort of his act. But then what I will say is, I think, by the way, I think he's a special talent. I think he's an unbelievable fighter. I just think there's a lot to like about him.
Yeah.
I think he's for real. But as he steps up the opposition, you feel like the showboating will have to be calmed down a little bit. If it's not, then you could pay the price for it. But then also what he's going to have, I think he's treated very Marmite, sort of, where there's people already tuning in going, I want to see him knocked out. Yeah. So he is going to put bums on seats.
And we've seen it before, Eubank, Hamed, you know what I mean? There's always going to be that.
Last time out, we come out in the Naz, cut straight like with the leopard skin. And that's it. But then obviously, if it does go wrong, you've got to be prepared to take it. You can't, then in any way, play any kind of victim. You put that pressure on yourself. But I think it's something he enjoys. Yeah, listen, it won't be everyone's cup of tea, but there's no denying he's a very talented young man.
As is Mark Jeffers. Again, and I know he's in the know. I mean, I'm not being wise after the event, but anyone that's seen Mark Jeffers in the early stages of his career
a real chance.
Knew that this lad is a talent. He's had injuries and he's had maybe a loss of momentum, but he was never going to not try and take that opportunity on the big stage, and he did it to some tune, because we know that Zach Chelly's a great lad as well. But Mark was in control all the way through.
He did set the pace and won most rounds, I think. I know he got a little bit of criticism. The father of Zach Chelly, Joe, celebrating at the end, but there's no way. There's no way that decision should have gone the other way whatsoever. Like I thought Jeffers was a good winner. I knew Jeffers for years from a schoolboy, and it was like a man in a kid's body, do you know what I mean? But even then, he carried on, and he just at times he would just set the pace. He was relentless. He just looked strong there. He wasn't happy at all with his performance, but that night
his interview was class, wasn't
it? Brilliant.
I mean, the F-bombs, he was just dropping everything left, right. He could not care less. He couldn't care less.
I mean, he's a good athlete, and he's from a very
very sporty family.
Yeah, very sporty family.
Yeah, did the business. So again, the secret is out, though, isn't it? You know, so it's going to be a struggle. Anyway. He's got to go for titles, hasn't he? Straight away, he's got to.
Well, I couldn't understand it. There's a Commonwealth silver, which obviously Mark Heffron's got because he was meant to got a British and Commonwealth. So I know Kevin Marie looks after both Mark and Mark, doesn't he? He looks after both Mark Heffron, Mark Jeffers. So I think he'll manoeuvre that in which way he wants. But no, and he's certainly ready for titles after that.
And Callum Simpson's another one of his fighters that he manages, and he had a tough night with Boris Croughton. He was, again, there was only one winner, but Boris is tough, and he'll jump in, he'll fight anyone. Boris, he's proved that already, hasn't he? With
Boris
London
recently, you think you look at Lyndon Arthur, Steve Woodall over in Poland, I think that was, and now Callum Simpson. And I was always very confident that was going to go. Boris is a good fighter, and he asked questions, but I thought it was the perfect kind of learning fight for Callum at that point. You know, he's bowling everyone over. I thought he needed the rounds, and listen, he's done the rounds well. There'll be things he takes away from it. And I think before he steps into domestic titles, which we're now going to look to do, he wants those kind of fights. Yeah.
There was a rematch, and again, another couple of girls you know very well. You've shared the ring with April Hunter, with Kirsty Bavington on many occasions. Bavington obviously won the first fight. April, she needed to make adjustments, and it looked like she had made adjustments and improvements under Peter Fiore, and got the job done, I suppose, second time round. Did that go the way you thought it was going to go?
This was one of the fights I was actually looking forward to the most to go in.
There's a bit of needle before as well.
Both well.
And I only managed to get there for this. I literally was walking down the stairs where she caught her with the. Was it the backhand that she caught with that she dropped her?
It was a big right hand, big right hand.
Big right hand, big backhand.
And I didn't expect that. But, April does hit hard, but Kirsty can set a pace. But, I thought it was going to be as close as what it was. But obviously, I think, was it the knockdown that really won her the fight?
The knockdown did win her the fight. I think without that, it was 10-8 rounds, so it would have... it
was close.
Depending on who had won in the round, it was a draw. It would have gone the other way.
Yeah. But a very, very good win for April. You can see what it meant to her as well. But over the hill, matchroom card, Dalton Smith, Sam Maxwell. And again, there's been a lot of hype around Dalton, quite rightly as well. Yeah. Sam Maxwell, very talented amateur, went in with Lomachenko twice, your old mate, didn't he, as an amateur?
Done much better than me, but
And as a pro, I mean, again, he's had his blips, but he's a real talent. So it was a good test for Dalton, who finished the job spectacularly, didn't he? Yeah. And again, it was a really kind of engaging fight, though. It'd
be one of the KOs of the year, wouldn't it? But I thought Dalton looked, I think by his own admissions, he'd been a little bit off the boil his last few fights. But whether that was down to opponents, styles, gelling, but he looked very good on Saturday night. And Sam was there. I think he was trying to set a little bit of a pace, but he was wary. I think he felt a few shots early, and Sam, he just kept coming over the top with that backhand, didn't he? And Dalton, his distance, his counter punch, and that's what I thought. I thought Sam can whack, and good speed on him, but timing beats both of them. And I think that's how I felt it was going to go for it, and it did on the night. And Dalton looked very, very good, and I know there was after it, very much like, the timing's probably perfect, and I agree in the sense where Sheffield's always been a great fighting town, and sports flying there at the minute from both football teams have been promoted. I know that Dalton is Wednesday, isn't it? They've just been promoted as well, but Kell Brooks just finished. I mean, there's talk about comebacks and stuff like that, but I believe he's a star in the making, and I believe that's the lad. He's a great lad as well, as you know. He's very sort of, you could see he checked the way he checked on Sam Maxwell as soon as it ended after the biggest win of his career. That's the lad who they can get behind.
That's his arena now.
It is his arena, that's even comes out to the Arctic Monkeys, Sheffield band. I like him. I like it all from him.
They bored the pants off me at Glastonbury, by the way.
Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah.
I'm not. I am a music critique, but I was very happy with Glastonbury.
As you said, just some of the early stuff I thought was very good. But
the early stuff was better, definitely.
Anyway, enough of that. Pat McCormack, who again, you know, speaking to Ben Davison last week, weren't we? And he's very excited about Pat, as he proved why. He's so sharp, isn't he? I mean, he's just so sharp, so ready now to make a bit of a leap, I think.
It was seen as like a step up in Tony Dixon. Tony Dixon not a bad fighter at all, but it become very evident, very early, become evident that Pat was just levels above him. Yeah. And there was no shame in that. But he was so good and just so, you know, he doesn't waste much at all. Pat's one of the best amateurs we've ever produced, GB's ever produced. I wouldn't say in recent time, I mean ever. And I know, I always go back to this, I always hear from a good source, I think Rob McCracken was saying I'm pretty sure in that he's probably the most talented lad he's worked with, the best lad he's worked with. And you know, when you think of some of the names Rob's worked with, both pro and amateur, that's some compliment, that. But he's ready to be let off the leash for sure.
Yeah, he's not bad. Hopi Price is in action again. A Dave Colwell fighter. Didn't have it, you know, an easy night particularly, did he? But
Jimmy Beach Jr. Tough, but he found this once he started finding his range. He started breaking Beach. I thought it was a great call from the corner of Jimmy Beach Jr. I really did. And now I think he looks a lot happier at the weight that's open. I don't like say he's got the frame to go up the weights. He's only a young lad, but he's got lovely skills, counter punching, and I know it might not be everyone's cup of tea early on. He'll take his time to get into it, but no, I think moved at the right pace, he can be a real talent, and go very far. Yeah.
Did you watch much of that? I know you were busy in Manchester anyway, weren't you? So you missed most of this card, didn't you? The match.
Yeah, we were trying to like flick through. So I think we caught a bit of Junaid's and then a bit of Dalton's.
Junaid's a talent as well, isn't he?
Yeah, really.
He's got the persona as well, hasn't he? He's going to start kind of making a few waves again as he steps up as well and keeps doing those. He's making the right kind of move. You feel as well.
Yeah, but again, I thought it was a very good learning fight for him, getting in those rounds. You know, fair play to the matchmaker there in that one.
A girl that caught my attention. We bumped into her in a team in Sheffield. Beatrice Ferreira, who
she was on. The Brazilian girl.
Yeah, amateur world champion, wasn't she? I mean,
I think I'm right. She's an Olympic medalist, or just Olympian.
I think she. No,
I should know that. But I like her a lot.
She did medal.
Yeah, she medalled.
Sure of it. Well, it looks silly now if she didn't, but I'm pretty. Anyway. Well,
I know, but anyway. Brian Peters is and I think whenever Brian Peters has got a fighter, I'll always look and think, no,
he doesn't go for quantity, does he?
No, he doesn't. Yeah. He really sees something, and I think, you're watching there and you think there's a great chance she becomes a world champion.
She needs to stay where she is in super feather, I think, for a bit, Rhiannon. She comes up to lightweight.
Keep her down there for a bit. No, I like her a lot. She's good, entertaining, and a great girl as well. Yeah, and the final one we'll have a look at, I think the big heavyweights, and he's a hyped fighter, it's fair to say, Jared Big Baby Anderson, in against Charles Martin, that over here we probably got a fairly warped view of, because Anthony Joshua blasted him out in a couple of rounds to win his first title, that IBF belt that he'd won in a vacant contest, and everyone thought it was a little bit cheap, him picking up that title. Yeah, he's had well-documented problems since, and he like some crazy videos on social media. I think he likes the smoke of the cannabis. And Jared Anderson, but Jared Anderson was being tipped as the next top American heavyweight, and he still might be, but like the wheels nearly come off at one point.
In a way, though, it's that kind of fight can help him, because people won't fear him now. He's blasted everone else out.
He'd only had around, I think, 10 fights, or something like that. I've just seen.
No, that's 14 and 14 knockouts. It's his 15th fight, I think. And then he's come up against Charles Martin, who's got a few defeats on his record and everything else.
But on his day, he's capable, you know.
Well, and he proved that.
Good southpaw, and he proved that on the night. And you think, so. Someone just tweeted someone's and there's bang on where he's a prospect. He needed testing. He needed the rounds. He's got the rounds. He's come over a mini crisis, come through.
Yeah, the fifth round was horrible for him, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what he looked like. Well, it did look like the wheels were going to come off. So now, straight away, he's gone from being this, and this is boxing sometimes. And listen, they might be right, but it was the kind of learning fight he needed. He had to deal with a bit of adversity in a fight. He had things all his own way, whereas now he's gone from being future world champion to, oh my God, he's not going to do anything. He's not going to do. And I always say, listen, boxing fans, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but they can be harsh. They can be really harsh at times. And he's gone from being a world champion to now he's not going to do a single thing. So we'll see. But I thought, I'm not about the performance, but I thought it was the kind of fight he needed.
Yeah, so that wraps up all the kind of professional action over the weekend. But the amateurs, the Team GB and the European Games and everything else, I mean, it was important for for the qualifiers as well, for those looking to get to Paris.
Yep.
We'll just briefly touch on this because, there's a guy that we both know, and I'm sure you've probably met Delicious Ori as well.
I've heard of him.
Yes.
Yeah, where he won gold. He qualified for Paris anyway before the final, but he won gold. He carried the flag at the ceremony, the closing ceremony, so he's made a massive impact. And again, he's getting better and better, isn't he, DJing? So I think GB had 3 qualifiers and 4 medals, 3 bronze, 1 gold.
Yeah, Paul came out and got a medal, but I think he had to get to the final to get it. But Rosa and Charlotte, Rosie had an unbelievable win. Was it Amy Broadhurst she beat? I might have to check that. It's Harrington or Broadhurst, I should know that.
No, Harrington won gold.
Yes, so Amy Broadhurst. It was an unbelievable fight. So that was some win. I'm right in saying that for Rosa.
Yeah, and Charlie, just the 3 kids and two-time Olympian.
Two-time Olympian.
Crazy, isn't it?
That's an unbelievable story. And she was saying how she's much better prepared this time. Yeah. And what a story that would be if she goes to Paris and wins a medal.
And the Irish team as well, because you talk about, obviously Amy Broadhurst, Aoife O'Keefe, and then Kelly Harrington. And they've 5 qualifiers from the games, 2 golds, a silver and 2 bronze. Incredible the way, as a nation, a small nation, they boss the amateur scene so well for a tiny country.
Unbelievable. The Irish amateur setup for many years. Listen, the GB's improved massively, but I think even before that, for such a small nation, the setup has been unbelievable. In some of the fights we produce, and 5 have qualified, and there's another qualifier, and I'm pretty certain there'll be a few more that get added from both sides. So, some achievement. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some medals between them, not just qualified Olympians, which is a great achievement, but some medals for them as well.
Yeah, enough about us anyway. Let's get into Rhiannon now.
Yes, she is.
There you go. Because you've helped us with the breakdown and whatever. Wanted to hear your thoughts on those fights. But in terms of you now, you mentioned before that title and you train with Anthony. Just give us an insight to this place, firstly, and your stablemates and Anthony, and what makes Anthony an amazing trainer?
Didn't expect this.
I don't know. Why did you ask me in front of him? Because now I have to compliment him.
Well, just tell the truth, then you're not complimenting or whatever, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like all of us just get on so well. Me and James butt head time to time.
James Moorcroft.
Yeah, I feel like. Yeah.
Well, he's from your hometown of Wigan, isn't he?
I am not from Wigan. Can we clarify that? I am from Warrington.
What's wrong with Wigan?
I just don't sound like a farmer.
Oh dear, making new friends. Do you remember when you told Katie Taylor to fuck off?
Jesus Christ.
This is the worst moment of my life. I didn't mean it, fuck you. I meant, I can't believe that you wanted to spar me. And then
you got starstruck, didn't you?
Yeah, and then I tried, because I came across weird anyway, because I was staring at her because I didn't realise that she was there. And I think she was looking at me like, why are you staring at me? And then when we got introduced, I embarrassed myself. And then in the changing rooms, I was like, oh yeah, we'll go and get a drink after. And everyone was like, she doesn't drink.
There's one thing after another.
Next time, I'm just not going to speak to her. Yeah, Katie, if I do see you, I really like you. I do want to speak to you, but I'm not going to speak to you.
I think she understood. She's done that.
It.
She's proper legend, Katie, isn't she? But
she is.
So you've had an interesting kind of pathway to where you are now. Doing great work. You're from a very sporty family. Your brother's a rugby league star. Your brother-in-law's a rugby league star. This is all correct, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're obviously sporty yourself. You were a dancer.
Mm-hmm. Really good dancer.
Yeah. Because you came to boxing after your kind of studenty partying days kind of were coming to an end. Is that right? After your stint in McDonald's and all the rest of it. And so, go on. Give us a bit more insight then into how you ended up where you are.
So I did dance, actual dance, ballet, tap and modern, when I was younger, up until I was in high school. And then in high school, I kind of didn't really want to do sports. But if there's not a massive push for it when you're in high school, no one really bothers with it. So then leaving high school was doing, I did do biology, chemistry, maths and physics at college. So I was smart, but I worked at McDonald's. I did that for a few years, then went to Ann Summers and worked at Ann Summers for a bit.
Okay.
And then in uni, I got offered a job to dance on a podium. And that was really good money.
Podium.
Not a stripper.
Yeah.
On a podium, in a club in Wigan.
That's what you see, that's right. You keep confusing the towns. You keep getting really hot and bothered about not being from Wigan, but you spent half your life in Wigan, haven't you?
Yeah, but I didn't pick up the accent. It's 2 different towns. It's like Anthony lives in Oldham. He is from Oldham now.
Correct.
I'm not, but I'm a gym technical.
So everyone's saying I'm from Wigan. Well, Anthony is from Oldham.
Right. How many people live in Warrington?
200,000.
That's very good. It's 211.
Really?
Yes, who are the famous sports people from Warrington, where you're from then?
Me.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, the Warrington Guardian apparently had 7 famous people that from the sport
Really?
from Warrington.
Right.
Yeah. You didn't get a mention.
Unbelievable. You need to start reckoning
Guess who's
Warrington.
name a couple of obvious ones. You should name one at least.
Do you know what? You threw me off. Rhiannon's threw me off. Go on, give me some clues.
You've got Jesse Lingard, haven't you?
Oh yeah, Jesse's
is he from?
Warrington,
Oh
He's
yeah.
from Warrington.
Of course he is,
Then you've got James Chester, also played for United.
Yeah.
And footballer. Jim Challoner, rugby.
Yeah.
You see, this is the thing. This is where now you should start getting a little bit kind of perturbed. What about me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need a bit more love. It might have been an old thing that I saw on the Warrington Guardian. In fairness, you're probably up there now. But Roger Hunt, who played for England, played for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Apparently from
Warrington
originally.
They might get confused though, because everyone keeps on saying I'm from Wigan.
You actually got introduced as Wigan, didn't you?
Yeah, all the time.
I had to say, and obviously it's only what he'd been told.
Well, James
like,
Moorcroft tells everyone you're from Wigan all the time.
Yeah. I was like, David last time, David, you know, she's from Warrington. And he had you down as from Wigan.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The MC?
The MC.
Oh, that's terrible. Anyway, so go on, your stable mates here. You've got Anthony, obviously, and then the rest of them. James Moorcroft, that we know, obviously, that you've just mentioned. But who else do you bounce off in here?
I get on with everyone really well, apart from Will.
Will Crolla?
Yeah, Will snitches on me all the time. Like, when I go on the Versa, so we have to do a round on the Versa, he'll go around and check and then lie about my score, what I've got. So he's a snake.
And it's a nice balance otherwise. Bobby Faulkner's good young fighter coming through, and Zahir Iqbal's a talent. Levi Kinciona.
Bobby before, yeah, they was out in a few weeks. So no, there is, and you know, enjoying it with all of them. James is hopefully getting confirmation of a big fight for him very soon, his first title fight. So yeah, it's good. Rhiannon, obviously, we think it's going to be early September.
Yeah.
It's been, I think, Matchroom and Wasserman have done a deal, haven't they? So there's a few big shows in September. So it's going to be in. You're
likely to be on. The platform you're not sure about yet.
Well, we think we're pretty sure it's going to be a Matchroom show.
Right.
But obviously, the Wasserman have got a show in Bolton on the. Is it the first? They announced it the other day. Linden Arthur.
Yeah. Suarez.
So, yeah, Linden Arthur Suarez, which was meant to happen last time. So, yeah, in September we're there, and hopefully, yes, and I believe she will. It's a tough fight, but one, I believe she's capable of winning. She becomes European champion.
And what does that do then? You beat Thunders. What does that? Where do you feel you are now when you see that some of the female fighters have had world title opportunities pretty quick? You think of Shannon Courtney and whatever. It's happened pretty quick. Ebony Bridges.
Yeah.
What I mean, again, you're into double figures now, aren't you?
No.
Haven't you had? No.
That'll be my 9th fight.
9th fight now. Yeah. So I thought you'd had 10 for some reason, but so there you are. So that's kind of almost now at the cusp. But you win a European title. Are you thinking, right, ready for the Worlds?
I think it's because I've just been learning every single fight, and we go on and say I've not had this amateur background, and I believe with every performance you can see I'm learning more and more. So I'm not in a massive rush. Katie's a champion at my weight, and she's in these massive super fights at the moment. So I don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
No, I think the timing will be perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking for Rhiannon, like you say, and I probably get fed up of saying it. Rhiannon's not had an amateur. She's learning on the job. She's never had an amateur fight. I say it all the time. She had a few fights in nightclubs. By that I mean in a white collar.
It was in a professional.
I don't mean she was belting people in Wigan or Warrington. But so she's learning, and I think obviously at that, she wins that European title. It's nice look for her to defend that, maybe pick up some kind of intercontinental, international title, and then when the timing's right, we'll see it. Obviously, I think at times, Katie, she's got all the belts there, and she's a god of a woman, isn't she?
Yeah.
And I think so when the time's right, obviously you feel like she'll probably only have a few more fights, and then when those belts start becoming vacant and they get challenged for, hopefully Rhiannon's in that position, so she'll be thereabouts to be in some kind of final eliminator or some kind of world title. I think Rhiannon's at a weight there where, in certain weights, like you could say, you could have an handful of fights and you're fighting for a world title. There's plenty of fighters now, more and more coming around these weights. But no, she's coming on well. I've got to speak nice about her now, but she's coming on well all the time, and she's she's a great listener, improving all the time.
Yeah.
And end of the year, we want to be European champion and lots of fight again before the end of the year.
That's it, and thank you very much, Rhiannon. It's been an absolute pleasure in your place of work, your home in this ring. Oh well, listen, before we just have a look at what's coming up, what's your hero of the week? Who is your hero of the week?
Oh, wow. So I think, listen, hero of the week, you're coming on at a few weeks' notice. I feel like Mark Jeffers has announced himself. He's announced himself.
I thought you'd go for Clarissa or Franchon just for the singing, but
well, do you know what? Performance of the week, Mark Jeffers. The hero of the week is Franchon.
Right. And Clarissa, even though she wasn't fighting, she just turns up and she just kind of just gets involved anyway.
She just runs the show.
Yeah, and Sonny Edwards.
So, I just think the way she's threw that out to him, the motivation there for Sonny will be class.
Right, so the fight's coming up over in the States. We've got Ortiz Jr. and Stanionis. That's a WBA welterweight fight. Both unbeaten fighters, aren't they?
Oh yeah, that's a fantastic fight. Listen, I think Ortiz comes through, but I don't see how that fails to be a bad fight. I really don't. I think it's won in the second half, meaning I'm not seeing stoppage, but the championship rounds are probably where it's won. I think it gives him a good fight, but I go Ortiz.
Yeah, Boots Ennis is in action as well against
one of my favourite fighters.
Yeah.
Boots Ennis, no one mentions his name, do they? No one mentions his name, and I think the winner of Crawford Spence, whether they both move up or not, I don't know. And then Boots Ennis will be there in the wings. Obviously, Ortiz will have a different opinion on that, but Boots Ennis is a fantastic fighter.
And the Matchroom show is in Mexico again. Pacheco that we saw in these shows, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. He beat
Jack Cullen.
The meat cleaver from Little Lever.
Little Lever's meat cleaver. Yeah, he's in against Gallegos. But again, I know he's one that they put a lot of faith in Matchroom, haven't they?
Good.
Yeah.
He is. He's very, very good, and he's an exciting prospect. And they're certain they've got a world champion on their hands there. Yeah. Be interesting to see how they've matched him, and I look forward to seeing him back out.
So what do people have to do now, Anne, if they want to watch or listen to this?
Click, link, like, subscribe, leave comments, both good and bad. And
there was a few comments not happy about you and your. I told you.
I know, but I can take that criticism. So feel free.
Yeah, so it's on YouTube. Obviously, you can go on there, like and subscribe. The audio version of the podcast is on Spotify and all the usual stuff. Apple everywhere, Podbeam. You'll find it everywhere. And well, there you are. Thank you very much indeed for watching episode 4 of the Boxing Review Show.